In the tapestry of life, vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, a crack in the armor of invincibility we strive to maintain. Yet, hidden within the folds of vulnerability lies a profound opportunity for growth and transformation. Join me as we unravel the intricacies of overcoming the fear of failure by embracing vulnerability, unlocking the power within to rise above adversity and forge a path towards success. 1. Understanding the nature of vulnerability. Vulnerability is the raw, unfiltered essence of our humanity. It is the willingness to expose our true selves, flaws and all, to the world around us. It is the courage to step into the arena of life, knowing that we may stumble and fall, but choosing to show up nonetheless. Far from being a sign of weakness, vulnerability is a testament to our strength and authenticity. It is the fertile soil from which courage, compassion, and connection blossom. However, our fear of failure often compels us to retreat into the safety of our comfort zones, shielding ourselves from the perceived risks of vulnerability. Yet, it is only by embracing vulnerability that we can truly thrive, for it is through our cracks that the light of possibility shines brightest. 2. Shifting the narrative, from fear to empowerment. Our fear of failure often stems from a deeply ingrained belief that vulnerability is synonymous with defeat, that to expose our true selves is to invite judgment and rejection. However, by reframing our perception of vulnerability, we can transform it from a source of fear into a wellspring of empowerment. Rather than viewing vulnerability as a liability, we can embrace it as a source of strength, resilience, and authenticity. It is through vulnerability that we forge deep connections with others, as we allow ourselves to be seen and accepted for who we truly are. By embracing vulnerability, we reclaim our power to write our own narrative, free from the constraints of fear and self-doubt. As author and researcher Brené Brown so eloquently puts it, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. 3. Cultivating self-compassion, the antidote to fear. At the heart of embracing vulnerability lies self-compassion, the gentle embrace of kindness and understanding towards ourselves, especially in moments of fear and uncertainty. Self-compassion invites us to treat ourselves with the same warmth and empathy that we would extend to a dear friend facing similar challenges. It is about recognizing that failure is an inevitable part of the human experience and that our worthiness is not contingent upon our achievements. Through self-compassion, we learn to embrace our vulnerabilities with tenderness and grace, knowing that they are an integral part of what makes us beautifully human. As we cultivate self-compassion, we create a safe haven within ourselves, a sanctuary where we can find solace amidst the storms of failure and self-doubt. 4. Embracing imperfection, the pathway to growth and resilience. In a world that often glorifies perfection, embracing imperfection can feel like a radical act of defiance. However, it is through our imperfections that we find our greatest sources of strength and resilience. By embracing vulnerability, we acknowledge that failure is not a reflection of our inadequacies but rather a natural part of the learning process. It is through our failures that we gain the wisdom and resilience to navigate life's challenges with grace and courage. As author and poet Maya Angelou once said, "We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated." In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats, so we can know who we are, what we can rise from, how we can still come out of it. Embracing vulnerability allows us to embrace our imperfections with humility and grace, knowing that they are the building blocks of our growth and resilience. 5. Cultivating authenticity, living in alignment with our true selves. At its core, embracing vulnerability is about living authentically. It is about having the courage to show up as our true selves, unapologetically and unabashedly. It is about embracing our vulnerabilities as a badge of honor, a testament to our humanity and courage. By cultivating authenticity, we create space for genuine connections and meaningful relationships to flourish. We let go of the masks and facades that we use to shield ourselves from judgment and rejection, allowing ourselves to be seen and accepted for who we truly are. As we embrace vulnerability and authenticity, we tap into a wellspring of inner strength and resilience, knowing that our worthiness is not defined by our successes or failures but by the courage to show up and be seen, exactly as we are. 6. Harnessing the power of vulnerability and leadership. In the realm of leadership, vulnerability is often viewed as a liability, a sign of weakness that undermines authority and credibility. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Authentic leadership is rooted in vulnerability. It is about having the courage to show up as our imperfect selves, to acknowledge our mistakes and shortcomings, and to connect with others on a deeper level. When leaders embrace vulnerability, they create a culture of trust and authenticity, where team members feel empowered to speak their truth and take risks. Vulnerable leaders lead by example, inspiring others to embrace their own vulnerabilities and strive for excellence without fear of judgment or failure. By harnessing the power of vulnerability and leadership, we create organizations that are resilient, innovative, and compassionate, poised to thrive in an ever-changing world. 7. Transforming fear into fuel, the alchemy of vulnerability. At its core, vulnerability is not about succumbing to our fears but rather about transforming them into sources of strength and resilience. When we embrace vulnerability, we harness the alchemical power to transmute our fears into fuel for growth and transformation. Instead of allowing fear to hold us back, we use it as a catalyst to propel us forward, to take bold risks and pursue our dreams with unwavering determination. In the words of author and researcher Brené Brown, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. When we embrace vulnerability, we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities, unleashing our full potential to make a meaningful impact on the world. So, dear reader, I invite you to embrace your vulnerabilities, to lean into them with courage and conviction. For it is through our vulnerabilities that we discover our true strength and resilience, ready to conquer any challenge that comes our way. 8. Embracing vulnerability and relationships. Vulnerability is the cornerstone of authentic and meaningful connections in relationships. When we open ourselves up to vulnerability, we invite others to do the same, fostering deep bonds built on trust, understanding, and empathy. In romantic relationships, vulnerability allows us to let down our guard and truly connect with our partners, sharing our hopes, fears, and dreams without reservation. It creates an environment where love can flourish, rooted in acceptance and appreciation for each other's authentic selves. Similarly, in friendships and familial relationships, vulnerability strengthens the bonds between individuals, creating a support network where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. By embracing vulnerability in our relationships, we cultivate intimacy, resilience, and a sense of belonging that enriches our lives immeasurably. 9. Cultivating resilience through vulnerability. Contrary to popular belief, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness but rather a testament to our resilience and strength. When we embrace vulnerability, we cultivate the resilience to weather life's storms with grace and courage. It is through our willingness to embrace our vulnerabilities that we develop the resilience to bounce back from setbacks and challenges stronger than before. Instead of allowing failure to define us, we use it as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. As we lean into vulnerability, we learn to navigate uncertainty with confidence, knowing that we have the inner resources to overcome whatever obstacles come our way. In essence, vulnerability becomes the cornerstone of our resilience, empowering us to face life's challenges with unwavering determination and resilience. So, dear reader, I encourage you to embrace vulnerability as a pathway to resilience, knowing that it is through our cracks that the light of resilience shines brightest, guiding us through even the darkest of times. Conclusion. In a world that often equates vulnerability with weakness, embracing vulnerability becomes a radical act of courage and self-love. It is through our willingness to embrace our vulnerabilities that we unlock the power within to overcome the fear of failure and pursue our dreams with unwavering determination. So, dear reader, I invite you to lean into your vulnerabilities, to embrace them with an open heart and a courageous spirit. For it is through our cracks that the light of possibility shines brightest, illuminating the path towards success and fulfillment. As author and motivational speaker Les Brown once said, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss it, you will land among the stars." Embrace your vulnerabilities, dear reader, and watch as they propel you towards the heights of your dreams.